They are rushing the field. They are rushing the field. Georgia Tech has defeated number 4 Miami Hurricanes. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner post game with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and your friends. If you want to donate, support this channel through a donation, just hit the $ where you make a comment and I'll get to super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome in to the studio, everybody. We're going to be popping up the phone lines. Georgia Tech 28, Miami 23. Now what? Now what? Now what? Now what happens? Holy smokes. Miami's got a conference loss. That brings, we're going to look at the standings. SMU, holy smokes. Skaven, yes. Did the Gophers lose today, Mad Gopher? Yes, they did. There it is. There it is. The mayor who sits in the middle of Loserville City. The Gophers. This is the least physical team the Gophers have put out in at least a decade. Finally, the Gophers can complete the modern day forward pass. Finally, we can complete a modern day forward pass, but we can't block bleep. This is the worst offensive line. Rutgers, tip of the cap. You absolutely deserved it. If it was a fight, they would have had a thrown in the towel. I said during the week, I did not put it up. I did not put the game up for a prediction because I told you guys the Gophers were in the whirlpool. They were all beat up. Rutgers come in without Kyle Monangai, the great running back. It didn't matter. It did not matter. The Rutgers kicked our tush from play 1 to the very last play. They kicked our butts. Welcome, everybody. Miami goes down. But I'm going to say this again. Now what? I'm being serious. Now what? See, this is a Miami team that has escaped. And now they're only a one-loss team. They're only a one-loss team. I will get to your super chat right now. Xmatas Rutgers needed that win. And boy, did they deserve that win. And by the way, tip of the cap to the Greek rifle, Athan Kaliakmanis. A great first half. Struggled in the second. Well, he had a lot of drop passes. Max Brosmere, thank you for coming to Minnesota, though. Thank you. This has been a fun year for the Gophers because we were able to complete the modern-day forward pass. But this was the least physical team I have seen in at least a decade. The offensive line has been a disappointment all season long. Hi, Nathan. Appreciate it. Now, Jose, Miami with one loss better still be ahead of a two-loss Bama. Oh, man. Jose. Probably. Thank you, Xmatas, for your super chat. Kerry Gold knows it was just a matter of time before you went down, SMU, babe. Mr. Seminoles throwing an elbow at the rival Hurricane, rooting for SMU. Thank you for the super chat. Kerry Gold knows I appreciate it. Ryan Willie, sorry to see Minnesota lose. Not. Ryan Willie, the evil badger, comes in and throws a shot right into my heart. Rutgers defeats the Gophers 26-19. God just passed SMU a screen pass to the house. John Till, thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate your generosity. Ryan Willie, thank you for becoming an early peak Cloak and Dagger member for the 11th month. Holy smokes, you are hereby knighted officially Cloak and Dagger once again. Thank you, Ryan Willie. Thank you, Kerry Go Knows. Thank you, John Till, Esmus Tox. Holy smokes. Edward the Auburn Tiger, let's go SEC country. Somebody, if Bama wins, they better be ahead of Miami. Oh boy. This is going to be a controversial Saturday, a controversial week coming up because Miami losing, man. This is going to complicate everything. Everything, Lee. That should put BYU up to number 4. Well, maybe, but number 3, actually, when you're talking about conference champions, projecting it out, but I understand what you're saying. Okay, let's take a look. We're going to open up the phone lines. We're keeping an eye on Georgia and Ole Miss. That is on screen number 1. Georgia and Ole Miss. We're keeping an eye on Michigan, Indiana. We're keeping an eye on Iowa State, Kansas. Kansas just scored a touchdown. Jalen Daniels to Luke Grimm for 70 yards and a touchdown as they tie it up. Army goes down a quick 3-0 to North Texas. Okay, let's take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is now complicated. SMU is 5-0. 5-0 in the ACC. Miami's 5-1. Clemson is 5-1. Pittsburgh is 3-1. This kind of sorts opens it up for the Panthers again to get to the ACC championship game. Let's take a look at Miami here. They've got Wake Forest at home, at Syracuse. So they should end the ACC as 7-1. Okay? Look at their wins. Virginia Tech had to come back 38-34. California 39-38. Louisville 52-45. Duke, they won by 22. They were down. They lose to Georgia Tech. Now, how far does Miami fall? Remember, SMU, they've got games against Boston College, Virginia, and California. They're going to be favored in all those 3 games. SMU is looking to get to the ACC championship game. How far does Miami fall? We're going to open up the phone lines. The phone lines are now open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Ole Miss and Georgia. Ole Miss has started the ball at the 20-yard line. Jackson Dart overthrows it. Picked off by Georgia. A terrible throw by Jackson Dart. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. MBM, thank you so much for your incredible generosity. Holy smokes. FF8 buffs. Jonathan Ratcliffe, the architect. All good 720. Michael Batts, big ears bowl. The Mountaineers win. Dustin Flanner, Charles Chamberlain, Michael Tammas, Jason, JK Production, Kelly, you are all knighted, Cloak and Dagger. All of you, officially knighted, Cloak and Dagger. Thank you, Mr. Oklahoma State Cowboy, MBM. John Teal, put some respect on UCLA fixing the plane midair. Absolutely. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Thank you, John Teal, for your super chat. Coach Foster, you got the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator. They are coaching their butts off. UCLA knows what they're doing. They don't quite got the Jimmies and the Joes. An incredible season by UCLA. 1-5, and now they're 4-5, and they are a coming. Stormy Cyclone, I'm peeking in to see what you have to say. Well, Miami goes down. And my question, what happens now? They've been escaping game after game after game, and they finally get clipped. How far, Stormy Cyclone, does the Hurricanes go down in the playoff rankings? They're not going to be number 4. They're not going to have them projected as the ACC champion. I don't believe. I think they'll just go ahead. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. Let's look at the scores. Again, Miami's defense, we know this. It's not close to championship level, but Cam Ward has been on a Heisman roll. And he has gotten the job done. Okay, let's take a look at the top 25. Michigan and Indiana, 0-0. The phone lines are open. Give us a call. Let us know what happens now to Miami. Georgia, it's going to be 3rd and goal for Georgia. Michigan, Indiana, 0-0. Michigan's got the ball at Indiana's 34-yard line. Iowa State, 3rd and 11 at their 24, tied 7-7. Army's down 3-0. Clemson and Virginia Tech has started. Georgia is knocking on the door after an interception at Jackson Dart. Brutal pass to begin the game. We've got Colorado, Texas Tech starting at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central. Holy smokes. And the number 1 Oregon Ducks against Maryland, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern. Tennessee, Mississippi State, Notre Dame, Florida State, LSU, Alabama, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Missouri, Penn State, Washington, Boise State at Nevada. Give us a call, ladies and gentlemen. Miami goes down. Miami goes down. Cam Ward is still number one for Heisman. I don't think I disagree with you. I don't think I disagree. Jared Jones, why all the hate from Miami? They're going to make noise in the playoffs. I'm not seeing a lot of hate. Looks like Georgia scored. Georgia touchdown. I do think there is detractors because of the defense. Right? Mr. Jones, Miami Hurricanes defense. If they make the playoffs, and I think they're still going to make the playoffs, but if Miami goes to the playoffs, they're probably, I'm trying to think of the other teams, they're probably going to have the lowest ranked defense in the playoffs. Do they have a good enough playoffs to win a game if they get in? That is the question. Jared Jones, let's go Indiana. Give us a call, 763-260-1333. Thank you once again, MBM, for your incredible generosity. Stormy Cyclone, Iowa State is in a big game right now. A massive game. Kansas, they got to win this game. Okay, got it. Jared Jones, more on Twitter, not so much in the chat. They're getting raked. They're getting raked through the coals. I thought I was the only one that gets raked over the coals. Yeah, the defense is suspect. It's more, and now they're getting injuries. I don't know why they're getting the hate. Look, everybody, like if you have a team that is on the verge of going to the playoffs or is projected to go to the playoffs right now, you're rooting for everybody to lose. You're rooting for total chaos. And then when it happens, everybody's happy and they're throwing shots. I mean, everybody, look, no offense, no disrespect at all. Everybody except for Miami was rooting for Miami to lose. It's the same in all these games. Everybody was rooting for the Buckeyes to lose to Purdue. But that would have had to take the Holy Father to come down and do it himself, and that wasn't going to happen. That wasn't going to happen. Woo! Now, did Dart get injured? Because he had a towel around his head. I don't know. Let me know if he actually got injured. Okay, let's get back to it here. What is going on? Got to get back to the scores. Michigan, 1st and 10 at Indiana's 7-yard line. Again, everybody that's not an Indiana Hoosier fan, except maybe a couple Big Ten fan bases. I don't know. Not me. I root against everybody. I root against everybody unless it's my beloved Minnesota Golden Gophers who got their butts kicked today. But we're not going to talk about that right now. We're not going to talk. I root against everybody. Michigan, but everybody across the country, other than Indiana and maybe some parts of Big Ten country, everybody is rooting for the Michigan Wolverines to upset the Indiana Hoosiers. 1st and 10, Indiana's 7-yard line. Holy smokes. Kansas has got the ball back, 7-7. Iowa State still controls everything. They need this win at Lawrence, Kansas. Army takes the lead against North Texas, 6-3. Jackson Dart is getting mauled. Absolutely getting mauled. Okay, give us a call, 763 260-1333. Duke has 5 points right now. That is sicko stuff. Lee is rooting for Michigan. Colorado, Texas Tech is about to start. Now, let me get that up on the secondary game. Hold on. We've got Ole Miss, Georgia. Georgia's up a quick 7-0. Okay, hold on. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner. It is post-game. Miami goes down to Georgia Tech, the Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech. A tip of the hat. Goes to Georgia Tech. A big win, another big win for the program. Okay, Colorado, Texas Tech. That is a big one. That's another big one. Iowa State, Colorado is rooting for Kansas. If you look at the standings of the Big 12. Things are going to get real complicated here, guys. Real complicated. Iowa State's 4-1. Colorado is 4-1. Colorado is, the fans are eyeing the Iowa State game. Iowa State is eyeing the Colorado game. Holy smokes. Iowa State's one loss was last week to Texas Tech. Colorado's one conference loss was to Kansas State.
Call from
I'm sorry, did not get the name.
Evil Badger.
Evil Badger, thanks for calling, sir. Appreciate it. What do you think, man? What's going on? Holy smokes.
Well, I actually am surprised you haven't, I'm surprised that you're taking the Rutgers defeat of Minnesota.
Are you surprised I'm taking it so well?
Yes.
Well, look, deep down in my scarred Golden Gopher heart, I am hurting. I'm absolutely hurting. However, Ryan Willie, when you get beat the way the Gophers got beat today, where they just got hammered, and it's exactly what happened to Illinois, but we escaped with the victory. With the victory
offensive line didn't look that great either.
No, we are, but we're getting mauled. We're absolutely getting mauled. This is the least physical team I've seen. So it isn't like we lost because of we got beat. Rutgers flat out annihilated us. So when that happens, the pain isn't quite as bad. And Ryan Willie, I've got 50 years of losing. 50 years of losing. I know how to lose. I don't know how to run a college football YouTube channel, but I know how to lose. What about Miami? What do you think happens to Miami here?
Well, I think Miami, I think the ACC only gets one team in now that Miami lost.
That's true. That's a good point.
I think SMU is probably the only team, if they win the ACC title, is the only team to get in. And that will make room for an Alabama or an Indiana if they were to lose against Michigan, which I hate Michigan also.
Yeah, it's getting complicated now. It's that Miami loss makes it so Well, you know, if SMU loses, they still no. There is still the touchdown Ole Miss, touchdown Ole Miss. Holy smokes! I agree with you, Ryan, but I still think there's a chance for a second ACC team to make it. Although this hurts the chances, no question about it. But there still is, if SMU beats Miami in the ACC championship game, Miami is going to be one of those teams, last team in, or one of the last 4 teams out. Would you agree with that?
But I also think Miami losing gives the Big 12 a chance to get a second team in. I don't think they will, but I think it gives them a little better chance of getting a second team in.
Yeah, it hurts. But man, these rankings that come out Tuesday night, holy smokes. Big play by Texas Tech. They're driving down the field. Man, if everybody loses today, Ryan, if everybody loses today, I don't know. What if BYU goes down? Huh?
Well,
what if Indiana goes down?
Well, Mullen and all the Ohio State fans would be devastated.
That Indiana loses?
Because they don't want Michigan to beat Indiana. They want Indiana to beat Michigan.
That's true. That's true. But most of the country is rooting for Michigan because everybody wants chaos. Everybody wants their team to have an opportunity to move up. Kansas 14, Iowa State 7. Kansas 14, Iowa State 7. Holy smokes. The top of the Big 12 is going pear-shaped right now.
Well, I'm really into the Big 12. I'm really only into the Big 10 and maybe SEC.
Yeah.
Because I hate SEC.
Yeah.
But that's all I have for you, Greg.
I appreciate
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me call in.
You got it. I appreciate the call, Evil Badger. I hope the Gophers' loss has made your beautiful Saturday even more beautiful, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right.
Now, Texas Tech just scored, right? Thanks for the call, Ryan. Thanks for the donation, too. You got to hang up. Well, I don't know if the phone... Okay. Texas Tech touchdown. Wow. So, Colorado is losing. Iowa State is losing. Georgia and Ole Miss are tied at 7-7. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are in the cusp of chaos. The cusp of chaos. Indiana has already driven the ball down, a pass complete to Justin Ellison to the Michigan 9-yard line. Lawton runs for 2 yards to the Michigan 7. It is second and goal at Michigan's 7-yard line. The Hoosiers are driving. Holy smokes. Indy to the red zone. Texas Tech has started. Touchdown, up 7-0. The tortillas rain on the football field. The fans are going crazy. This is what is at stake in the Big 12 today. In the Big 12, we've got BYU 5-0. They play the Holy War against Utah. Iowa State 4-1 and they're down 7. Colorado 4-1 and they're down 7. Texas Tech, they're not out of it. They're up 7-0. They're trying to get back in this. The tortillas are all over the place. Colorado starts it at the 13-yard line. The Red Raiders are going crazy. The Red Raiders are going crazy. Terry Aloysius, Himalacious, Sacrilegious Nord, the bitter Golden Gopher fan, comes into the chat room. The bitter Golden Gopher fan, Kaliak Manis, the Greek Rifle, had a great first half against the Gophers. Gophers didn't do anything well. Time to turn my attention to Gopher hockey, and that's what happens in Minnesota. Everybody starts turning their head to the Golden Gopher men's hockey program, the women's hockey program. The Gophers men's hockey program defeated the evil Badgers 3-2 yesterday, that they're sitting on top of the world, or close to the top of the world, top of the rankings. Jose tossing flour tortillas because the corn tortillas are too tasty to waste. The little general would absolutely agree with you. The little general does not eat flour tortillas, only corn. Well, 95% of the time. 95% of the time. Colorado State, deep in their own territory. They're trying to get out of there. Terry Nord, why was this the least physical Gopher team of the last 10 years? That is my question. Why was this offensive line so bad? Now, we had Philip Daniels, the freshman, the redshirt freshman tackle. He had to come in and play today because Tyler Cooper was injured. He was injured last week, this week. And Daniels, number 60, was not ready to play football. He got torched. But the problem is, he was not the only offensive lineman who got absolutely torched today. All year long, the Gophers could not. The O-line got dominated. Okay, hold on a second here. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Okay, let's check out the scores here. Indiana, the Hoosiers, field goal, touchdown, Indiana 7, Michigan 3, Ole Miss 7-7. Iowa State's got the ball at their own 17-yard line, but it's 3rd and 18. The Cyclones have hit the wall. They're down 14-7. the last couple of weeks for the Cyclones, they have not been able to put it in a different gear. Army's up 7-3 over North Texas, but Texas is about to score. They're on the doorstep of Army. Again, give us a call. The phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. Give us a call. Miami, the number 4 team in the nation, goes down to the Georgia Tech Rambling Wreck 28-23. Finally, Miami cannot escape. They cannot escape another poor performance from their defense. Their defense could not stop Terry Nord and myself. They could not stop us. That's how poor that defense is.
Call from
Larry the GM.
Larry, the GM, Mr. Longhorn. I haven't even talked about Texas. Beautiful game today. Holy smokes. They win in a blowout.
It's time, Greg.
Huh?
It's time. Let's talk Texas.
All right, let's talk Texas. Let's go. 49-17. Holy smokes.
Greg, it was worse than that score. It was 35-0 at halftime, and Quinn Ewers came out early in the third quarter. I mean, he had done his job. Five touchdowns, 333 yards.
Yep.
You know, Texas looked really good. Now Florida was just beaten up. And
Yeah.
It was like playing a hybrid between Florida and the Gainesville High School team today. I mean, they had so many injuries that, you know, but that was good. Texas needed that, I think, to get ready for Arkansas and A&M, what they have left. So.
Yeah, they did. They were slipping a little bit, but that was a Jackson Dart. Ole Miss is driving. Yeah, that's what Texas needed. You're absolutely correct. You had a guy run for 100 yards.
Gibson, the third string.
Jared Gibson, third stringer. All right.
True freshman, ran for 100 yards.
Yeah.
And honestly, Greg, the running game, and that's the thing you've been pointing out. That's the thing that Texas did not look all that great today. I mean, yeah, Gibson had 100 yards on 16 carries, but it was kind of garbage time, a lot of those yards, and it wasn't as impressive as it may sound.
So you got Texas A&M at the end of the season. Who do you play before Texas A&M?
We got Arkansas.
Arkansas, okay. Yeah, that you should be able to handle that. Arkansas's defense is scrambling right now.
Yeah, they're kind of beat up too, aren't they?
Yeah. They're getting gouged. But I like that quarterback. I think they can be excited about next year with that quarterback, Taylor Green. Yeah. But yep.
So, Greg, you were talking about like what does Miami losing today mean? I think it's helpful for the SEC possibly to get a 4-team in, and the Big Ten, either the SEC or Big Ten get a 4-team in. It's also, I think it's also more of an opportunity if Army can win well today. That the dream of having both BYU and Boise State and another Group of 5 team in, I think it opens the door for that possibility.
Okay, so before I came on live, I was thinking about that. I mean, and depending on what happens to the rest of the day today, that could be the scenario that we're all talking about. If Army can come back, they're losing right now, I think. But if Army defeats North Texas and somehow beats Notre Dame, okay? Now, they got the quarterback back today.
Right.
No, Army's got the ball back. North Texas did not score. So, if Army, so this is the I don't know what you want to call this. This is complete chaos scenario where Army goes and beats Notre Dame on November 23rd, and Boise State runs the table, and Army runs the table, and let's say you got BYU losing tonight, and what if the Big 12 champion has 2 losses, BYU loses again, or and then you got more chaos in the ACC. You could have 2 G5 teams make the playoffs.
Right.
Wow.
We'll call that the PATC special, Greg.
That's a lot of pain. That might even mean that I don't even want to say it because I'm going to get yelled at. But let's just wait to see how BYU plays tonight. If they lose,
right.
If Colorado loses, if Iowa State loses, yikes, man.
Well, the Big 12 has anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah,
right? And that's the beauty of the Big 12 and also the challenge of the Big 12.
Yeah.
I think it's still. It's possible they could get 2 teams in, but given the fact that anybody can beat anybody in the Big 12, I think the chances of them getting 2 teams in are somewhat of a long shot, to be honest with you. And the ACC's opportunity to get 2 teams in, I agree with you, it's still possible, but I think it becomes a long shot with Miami. Whoever loses the ACC championship game is going to have 2 losses, Greg, and I don't know that they're going to put a 2-loss ACC champion, a 2-loss ACC runner-up into the 12-team playoff.
The thing is, now again, in a strange way, what BYU does affects it because, in a couple different ways. Like SMU lost to BYU 18-15. So if SMU loses to Miami in the ACC championship game, SMU would have 2 losses, 1 to Miami and then 1 to BYU. And what if BYU goes undefeated, Big 12 champion? That's that could get in. The Miami, though, if they lose to SMU, now they have an SMU loss, but they have a Georgia Tech loss. And no disrespect to Georgia Tech, they're a decent team. It's just that SMU's loss is a lot better loss right now. But
Greg, I think we're headed toward, like you said, chaos. I think the next 3 weeks are going to be incredible for college football, and we're going to see the excitement of the 12-team playoff play out this year because you've got multiple conferences that are going to be coming down to where the championship game really is good. The championship game for the Big 12 and for the ACC could literally mean win and get in and lose and go to a regular bowl and you're not in.
Yeah. And if you win, maybe you should win big because an Army might be knocking on the door or Boise State might be knocking on the door, right? To get that 4th.
Well, if you win that conference championship game, you're in, right? But if you there's teams in those conferences. Well, there's teams in those conferences that are gonna, like if BYU loses tonight, they gotta play out the rest of the season winning convincingly, or that game could hurt them. Right? It's that close for some of those teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Alrighty, man. Thanks for the call, sir.
Well, I'm excited for my Longhorns. I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks. I've been staying kind of quiet while the Longhorns had their off week, but
this was a big.
They look good today. Let's see how they play out the rest of the year.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks, Larry the GM. Appreciate it, my man.
All right, take care. Thanks, Ray.
Yeah. Woo! Ole Miss is up. Ole Miss is up 10-0. Kansas, the Jayhawks, 21, Iowa State 7.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Ole Miss 10, Georgia 7.
Oh my God!
Texas Tech 10, Colorado 0.
Oh my God!
Ryan Willie still doing the BYU Utah watch party. Absolutely yes. Yes, we're doing the watch party. Come join us late tonight. The Holy War. BYU Utah. Now, a BYU win. The Cougars, if they come out and win, if they go to Salt Lake City and beat Utah, and you got Colorado losing, you've got Iowa State losing, BYU Cougars are going to have a nice ride into the Big 12 championship game. But if they lose, pure chaos.
Call from
BJ.
BJ, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir. I appreciate it.
As always, Greg, thanks for allowing me to speak on your platform. I have one main thing. Like, you know how when you're younger and you hear these coaches have these sayings, and these sayings are fairly persistent. And, you know, any football coach or anybody who, you know, likes football, especially college football, coaches always talk about November and how November is arguably the most difficult month of the season, right?
Yeah.
And road games in November always produces the biggest upsets, the most plot twists, you know, in our sport, right? And as this, you know, this week has played on, November football is amazing. I've seen Minnesota go on the road and not look like themselves. I've seen Miami go on the road, not look like themselves. I'm seeing CU on the road look like they haven't played football in ages. And with that being said, why do you think it is so difficult for road teams in November?
I don't know. One of the things we don't know is we get an injury report, but that doesn't always tell the story. Some of these teams are beat up, and they got guys who are playing. They're not injured, but they're hurt. Now, for like the Gophers, I said all week, they're in bad shape. They are in bad shape. And Rutgers just crushed them. Miami, you talk about how, you know, they didn't look like they kind of did look like what they've been doing, right? They kind of did look like how they've been playing all year. The secondary is clueless. And now they've got injuries. Miami now has injuries in the secondary, and the secondary was clueless before this game. So I don't know, like, going forward, Miami, like, I mean, BJ, I love Cam Ward. He's my number one guy in the Heisman, but how could you, depending on how SMU looks tonight and everything else, but how can you pick Miami to win the ACC championship game right now? Because one side of the ball is a disaster, and they've just got a bunch of injuries back there today. I don't know, man. What do you think, BJ? Who's going to win the ACC? Who's going to win the ACC championship game? Clemson, I think they're playing bad right now. Pittsburgh, they got blown out by SMU. Virginia Tech 7, Clemson's there. Who's going to win the ACC right now?
If I had to choose, Miami still has the best unit in that league.
Yeah.
And so, however, you know, pros and cons, and Georgia Tech played a style of football to keep the ball away from Miami, and it forced Miami's defense to be disciplined, and they're just not a very disciplined defense. But on a neutral field, if I had to put all the marbles, on a team, Miami's offense is still amazing. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
They like Cam still threw for like 350, 360.
Yeah.
Their defense has to get better, and it is just amazing to me. Syracuse went on the road, and they sleptwalk. They sleptwalk for most of the game.
Yeah.
So, and it's like they come out no energy, zero energy. And I'm like, this is a very difficult game. And for Miami and these road teams to come out with zero energy, I'm just flabbergasted by just the lack of just energy that these teams have on the road on these big, important games. And then I look at Georgia, right? Great game. Georgia's not really – something happened with Georgia. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's injury. And I'll say this and I'll wrap it up, Greg.
Yeah.
What I'm looking at this, there's no way in hell I would agree to play more games in college football unless I get at least 100 scholarship players.
Yeah, and that ain't going to happen because it's too costly now. So yeah.
You mentioned Miami. I'm looking at these teams.
Yeah.
Injuries all across the freaking board.
Yeah.
Why we're asking these kids to play 16 and 17 games when they can't make it through 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know whether the money-hungry folks at the top, right, they just want money. But if like Florida against Texas was supposed to be like a really good game, right? It was horrible to watch.
Yeah.
It was like unwatchable because we got a kid out there who just can't play football on this level at this time.
Yeah.
Going against a well-ordered machine on the defensive side. It was horrible. I guarantee you the numbers for that game would be atrocious because it's not competitive.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Florida went through two. So and I'll end it with that. It's like, and this is more not, hopefully it's not a rant, but
No,
I don't
it's
want
a great
more
call.
football.
Yeah.
I do not want more football if I'm going to have to see the second and third string running backs and quarterbacks and tackles out here playing horrible ball.
Yeah.
But thank you, Greg.
You
as
got
always.
it. Appreciate it. Great call, BJ. Thanks for calling, sir.
You too.
Yeah, and Colorado, another road team that so far that I have seen has really not made a play. Texas Tech up 10-0. They've got the ball. Ole Miss 10, Georgia 7. You know what? Maybe Ole Miss is running the ball with some effectiveness. I did not think that Ole Miss was going to be able to. It's too costly. These teams really want to. Any scholarship past 85 counts against your cap. Just the scholarship cost. That is what I read this week. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but David Griffin, Hoosiers are a machine. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. 14-7. 14-3, excuse me. Baron Martin is wheeling and dealing for the Red Raiders. Jackson Dart back to pass. Incomplete. Overthrow. It's going to be 3rd and long for the Rebels. 3rd and long. If you've just joined us, we're doing a post-game watch party. Miami goes down at Georgia Tech, 28-23. What does that do for the playoff rankings come Tuesday night, chaos. Absolute chaos. We're going to be doing a watch party. We're not doing a watch party right now. Texas Tech is just. Colorado is about to get their doors blown off. The Buffaloes are about to get their doors blown off. Holy smokes, what is going on? What is going on in the Big 12? Iowa State kicks a field goal. Kansas 21. Kansas 21. Iowa State 10. I mean, look. Look, we talked about field goal, good by Ole Miss. We talked about Larry the GM called earlier, and we were talking about nightmare scenario for the Big 12. I mean, what if BYU? Look, guys. Okay, I'm afraid to say what I want to say. I'm afraid to say what I want to say, but I gotta say it. We talk about, we're just talking, guys. Morton, sack. Look, we're just talking. Okay? We're just talking. Stephen McNeely, we know it already, Greg. I know you do, but I'm just going to say this. We're just talking. I'm not predicting this. I don't want it to happen, but we got to talk about it. What if BYU loses tonight? Okay? What if BYU loses tonight, and what if they lose at Arizona State? Or what if they lose at whatever. What if BYU has 2 losses? Now they're playing great. They probably won't. They probably won't. But I'm just saying. They're only a 4 or 5 point favorite against Utah. Three and a half when we made the play. 3.5 point. But what if BYU loses and loses again? Now you're getting into a situation where 5 top-ranked conference champions get an automatic berth. The Big 12 doesn't get an automatic berth. The Big 10 doesn't. The SEC champion, no champion gets an automatic berth. The 5 top-ranked champions do. So what if Army wins today? What if Army beats Notre Dame at home? What if Army runs the table? Boise State runs the table. You could be looking at a Big 12 champion not making the playoffs. We're just talking about a nightmare. BYU, favored to win all their games. They could be 13-0. The BYU Big 12 champions could get the number 3, number 2, whatever, seed in the rankings. That's a possibility as well. I'm just throwing it up there. If you got Iowa State losing, you got Colorado, if everybody has 2 losses in the Big 12, and if you got a 1-loss Boise State and a 0-loss Army who beat Notre Dame, and that's a big, big if, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying I don't think it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen. But just everybody's got to understand, and I know you all do, that no conference champion gets an automatic berth. You got to be one of the top 5. So, if you are a BYU Cougar fan, obviously you're going to be all in on BYU tonight. But if you are a Big 12 fan, if you are a fan of a Big 12 school and it's not one of the top schools competing with BYU, you are praying that BYU wins tonight. Because now this is becoming more about the Big 12. Undefeated Army would be a lock. Here comes that Texas Tech love. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia. Thank you for the reminder. Arkansas Razorback Jamie. Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt's quarterback, is suing the NCAA to get another year because he played in junior college. When he played in junior college, he didn't have the opportunity for NIL, and so he's suing and saying, look, I deserve another year of eligibility. Diego Pavia, the quarterback of Vanderbilt, suing for another year. That is a big story. Okay, guys, we are going to shut it down. Hello, Architect. I'm sorry, we're going to shut it down because this is a post game. We've been on the air for an hour. Miami goes down to Georgia Tech. I want to thank everybody for their generosity, for your phone calls, for your comments. But we are coming on later tonight to do a watch party. The Holy War, BYU versus Utah. Please come back and join us late tonight. We're going to be starting about 9:30 Eastern time. Somewhere around there. Just come and join us. Holy War, BYU and Utah. I cannot wait. So until then, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.